All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're tearing apart Ryan Moran's book, 12 Months to $1 Million. But I want you to think of this less like a book and more like an epic adventure map. A real deal guide for anyone who's ever had that itch to build something of their own.
Now, before we even look at the map, let's talk about the treasure at the end of the quest. This number, a cool $10 million, is what actually showed up in Ryan's bank account one morning. And believe me, it was no accident.
The story's pretty awesome. His business partner calls him super early in the morning and just says two words. Did you see it? Ryan fumbles to log into his bank and boom, there it is, an 8-figure wire transfer. Talk about a moment that makes it all feel real, right?
But here's the most important part of that story. That moment wasn't about getting lucky. It wasn't a lottery ticket. It was the predictable outcome of following a plan, a repeatable step-by-step roadmap that, we're going to walk through right now.
Every great journey, every hero's story, it all starts with a call to adventure. And for entrepreneurs, that call is almost always about one thing: freedom. It's about consciously choosing the scary, uncertain path of creating something yourself over the, supposed safety of a 9-to-5.
And for some of us, it really doesn't even feel like a choice, does it? It's more like a fundamental calling. It's this deep, nagging need to have control over your life, your time, your impact. If that sounds familiar, then you know exactly what he's talking about.
Okay, so before you can even take the first step on this journey, you need a new lens to see the world through. Moran calls this the capitalist mindset, and it's a massive shift from how most of us are taught to think about business and making money.
And here is the absolute core of that shift. Most people are focused on value extraction. How can I get my slice of a limited pie? The entrepreneur's mindset flips that completely. The goal is to focus on value creation. How can I bake a whole new, delicious pie for other people to enjoy?
This whole mindset is built on a few core beliefs. First, you have to take total 100% ownership of everything. Your wins, your losses, all of it. You have to get that growth isn't a straight line. It compounds. Money, that's just a byproduct, a lagging indicator that you're creating value. And maybe most importantly, you have to fall in love with the process, because the pursuit itself is the real reward.
All right, mindset is locked in. You're ready for your first quest. Moran calls months 1 through 3 the grind. And he calls it that for a reason. Seriously, this is the blood, sweat, and tears phase, where you lay the foundation and there are no shortcuts. The entire 12-month map is actually broken down into these 3 simple stages. First, the grind. That's all about getting your first product launched and selling consistently. Second, the growth. This is where you add more products and build momentum. And third, the gold. That's when you scale up to $1 million and beyond. Simple to understand, but not easy to do. This quote right here, it points to the single biggest mistake that people make during the grind. They get obsessed with their brilliant product idea. But the real secret, the counterintuitive first step, isn't starting with a product, it's starting with a person.
So this becomes the single most important question you can possibly ask yourself. Forget about products for a second. Forget about markets. Who is the specific group of people you genuinely want to help? You have to get crystal clear on this first.
And once you know who you're serving, the next part is way easier. You just have to figure out how. What are their problems? What frustrates them? What are their secret desires? Your billion-dollar product ideas are hiding in the answers to this question.
And you can see this play out with some massive brands, right? RX Bar didn't try to make a bar for everyone. They made one for their CrossFit friends who were sick of crazy chemical ingredients. Dollar Shave Club, they went after young guys who were totally fed up with overpaying for razors. And Poo-Pourri, well, they solved a very universal pain point. The pattern is the same. They all started with a person and their problem, not a product.
So, after you've survived the grind and you've got that first product selling, you enter stage 2, the growth. This is where it gets really fun. This is where your small wins start to compound into this giant snowball of momentum rolling downhill.
So how do you know you're ready to move into the growth stage? Well, Moran boils it all down to this one magic number: 25. The goal is to get that first product to just 25 sales per day, every single day. See, it's not some huge, scary number. It's a tangible, achievable target that proves you're not just playing around anymore. You've got a real business.
And this is the part that makes that huge million-dollar goal feel so possible. It isn't some impossible dream. It's just simple math. Get a handful of products, just 3 to 5, each selling about 25 units a day to that same audience, and boom,
you're there.
And this is that snowball effect in action. Look, getting product 1 to 25 sales is the hardest part. But when you launch product 2 to that same audience, your existing customers give you an instant sales boost. Then product 3 multiplies that effect again. See how it works? Your growth starts to accelerate like crazy.
And finally, you reach the summit. You get to the gold. This is the stage where you hit that $1 million a year run rate, and suddenly a whole new world of choices opens up about what to do with this amazing asset you've built.
So what happens when you hit the goal? You really have two main paths. You can keep scaling the business yourself, growing it into a massive empire. Or you can sell it for a life-changing payday, just like Ryan did. Either way, the journey itself has transformed you. You've become a new hero in your own story.
And that brings us back to the most important point of this entire adventure. It's not actually about the $1 million or the big exit. The real prize, the real gold, is who you are forced to become along the way. You become more resilient, more creative, more capable. The pursuit itself is the reward.
And just like that, the journey circles all the way back to the beginning. This roadmap gives you the steps, but you have to be the one to take the first one. So the only real question left is the one that starts it all. Who will you choose to serve?